Welcome, welcome, namaste. We are going to start the yin yoga journey lying flat on the earth. And I'm going to do the same. I want you to just allow your back body to ripen into the earth. And for me, when I lay on the earth, almost immediately I can sense a deeper relaxation of my bones, and let your muscles really rest here. Perhaps take your hand, your peace fingers, and just rub the third eye. Give yourself a little third eye massage, index and middle finger, and circling around clockwise and counterclockwise, about the size of a quarter. Very light pressure. And maybe draw your fingers up slightly and down, just relaxing that crease in the forehead. And also, this third eye chakra speaks to intuition. So you know that rolling out the mat is extremely wise. And those that are interested in optimal health and calming the nerves practice yin. It seems to me that the deep stretch that we get in a class is sort of a frosting on the cake. The cake itself is the deep piece. Place your palms over your navel stem, about an inch above the navel. Let your elbows get heavy on the earth. Soften through the jaw and the cheeks. And watch your next inhalation come in very slow, very smooth. And exhale, let go. Exhale fully, all the way, empty out. And then be aware of that vastness, that emptiness. And then invite the breath in again, like a sacred guest of prana. And fill the lungs and feel expanse in the heart space. And notice how your bones can just sort of relax and soak, almost like we're making bone soup. The temperature simmer, so it's a slow simmer of the bones. The muscles are recovering, and it's the brain, the mind, that we want to guide back again and again to the breath. Gently and compassionately, just sort of asking the thoughts to take a little vacation the next 75 minutes. So I've asked you to place your hands over the solar plexus. This is an energy center in the body, right smack in the middle of the body, right? It speaks to confidence and an inner knowing and a certainty. And I believe that the situation in our lives right now in July 2020 is causing a little activation in the nervous system. So I want you to really tune in, tap into the breath, inviting the breath in extra slow, extra deep. And you can rock your skull, just gently rocking your head, looking over right shoulder and left. A much needed massage, back of the brain can relax, get heavy on the earth. We don't need brains for yin. We don't need muscle either. The deep relaxation is beginning to take over the body. Notice that. And then the mind usually follows suit. eyes are closed, gently relax the muscles around the eyes and notice how nice it is when we cut off the sense of sight and we enliven, we really heighten the other senses. See what it is you can hear around your home. If you smell a particular fragrance, perhaps you have an essential oil or a diffuser, or maybe you've cooked something. Just notice that. Listen to any music you might have playing in the background. And deeper breath in this time, deeper, slower, smoother. And release. And if you were a beginner yinster, you'd be worrying about when's the next pose? How long is she going to keep us on her back? What's next? What do we do? You'd be looking around the room. But everyone tonight is more of a veteran. And our path of yin has helped us to slow it down and not worry about the future, not worry about what's next. Instead, relishing this moment and really savoring this time on our back, knowing we've rolled the mat out, we'll get what we need. Turning ourselves over to a trusted guide and knowing that I am just a guide. You guys will manage your intensity. And I'll guide you tonight as best I can with my voice so that you'll only have to take a look at the screen very seldom, so that you can stay in this state of relaxation. Beautiful, you guys. So join me in a little kneeling position. Yeah, beautiful. And if you need a blanket underneath your knees, that's fine. And let me take my blanket a little closer. I want to demonstrate. We're going to come into toe squat, where you're tucking your toes under, and most of us actually have to reach and take the baby toe as well. For some of us, sitting back on the heels is nearly impossible, so then we can stand on the knees. We still get a nice crease in the toes, right? Or we can place our hands down, okay? And if you have your blanket nearby, you can just place it behind the thighs and on top of the calves, there. And that's pretty comfortable too. I'm gonna turn my body a little bit, yeah, there we go. And now you can place your hands, palms up, palms down, your choice. What feels better for you? And if you've been struggling at all, or if you've noticed that balance is a little iffy, this pose is so good to release tension in the feet, and we're really pulling the tendons and ligaments apart gently, of course, over time, of course. And most of us are at home, so chances are we could be in slippers and moccasins and such. And I'm going to invite you now, if you're not already, to close your eyes gently and just be. And follow the next joyous, real generous inhalation into your lungs. And let the breath just flow out, slow and steady. This is yin, it's not restorative, so there's a little protesting perhaps going on. Your toes are starting to squeak and maybe even squawk. And I'm here with you. It's actually uncomfortable. There's a certain discomfort. But we've practiced yin so long that we know the way to heal the joints deep within is through the long and slow hold times. And so I invite you just to go within and don't fret, we're not going to be here too long. And invite the breath in, really feel the breath enter the body and fall in love with the breath here and see if we can just take our mind, calm the mind. The route is through the breath. This practice builds patience and tolerance. Mostly this practice heals our joints from the inside, soothes the soul. We find a deep peace here. So I'm going to invite you now to just set your hands on the earth in front of you. Raise your hips slightly and then untuck those toes, right? And you can tap your feet, tap, 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 tappity tap. I know, they feel like they're fragile, they're going to break off. They're not. Swish your heels side to side. And if you're looking at the screen, you can just drop your head down now. And just relax the neck and heels just swish side to side. You're getting a nice massage over the tops of the toes. And then I'm going to invite you, you're on your hands and knees, but tuck your toes again. Tuck your toes, spread them far apart. Sort of play here, get playful. And then sit back again. You can leave your hands on the earth if you want. Sit back, meaning let your tailbone come down to your heels. Toes are tucked. There's still a lot of sensation, but nothing like 45 seconds ago. Okay, and then come up, and then untuck your toes, tappity tap again. Yeah, just get playful here. Good, good, alrighty. Next pose, you guys, is a simple kneel. See if you can come on up with a straight spine. And then I'm going to turn. So I'm kneeling. You guys can see my ankles here, right? Let me pull my pants out a little bit. So that's it. This is for the front, like ballet feet, right? The entire front of the ankle. So most of us won't put any blocks underneath our knees. If you want to put blocks underneath your knees, you can. I'm not going to. And once again, you can be a calm and peaceful yogi here. And just find your seat. This is too much on the knees. You guys can roll off to the side and maybe roll off to the other side. But the typical ankle stretch is where you're just actually letting your sits bones rest on your heels. Let your palms face the sky. Close your eyes. Maybe even tilt your chin down slightly, almost in a little bow to your sadhana, to your practice. You can take the index finger and the thumb, the tips, and lightly let them touch in yana mudra, a hand gesture for wisdom. We haven't done this ankle stretch in a while. Haven't done toe squats, so perhaps you're feeling a little stiff. And just hang in with me, just breathe. There's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do. Just be with me and use your breath to slow things down, slow the mind. And drink your breath in nice and slow and smooth. And fill up. Not too much, there's that just right. And then watch that U-turn when the inhalation just naturally becomes an exhalation. And slow it down and just watch the breath. We're gonna come out of the pose, you guys. So hands down and just roll off to one hip. And then very gently, very slowly, extend your legs out in front of you. Yeah, beautiful, you guys. I'll back up a little bit here. And maybe just drum your legs a little bit. You might get some fresh blood into those knees. You can massage your knees. You can drum your feet, drum your legs, I mean. And then just take your feet side to side. Yeah. Yeah, and just sort of play with the ankles here. And then point the toes and flex the feet. Oh yeah, feels so good. Can you lift your heels off the earth? Maybe you can. And then point, let your heels come down to the earth. And then alternate. Point one,
flex 1. Point 1, flex 1. And then widen your feet about maybe 2 feet. And then see about turning your toes out, sort of like duck feet, right? And consider your femur bones are now externally rotated, right? And just see how this feels. Sit up tall, you're not slouching here, right? And then turn your toes inward. Can you touch your toes on the earth? What? You'll find out real fast if you're externally rotated or internally rotated, like little pigeon toes. Yeah. And then circle the ankles around, inward, outward. And just tune in, tap into your ankles to your feet. Yeah, you can make little fists with your toes. Little fists and release, little fists. There's 26 bones in each foot. You can only imagine all the ligaments, all the tendons. So these two poses are so good for your lower extremities, right? So hopefully, we're gonna move on. We're gonna come into shoelace pose. I'm gonna show you an option, okay? So I'm gonna demonstrate shoelace pose, but if this doesn't feel good, hang in, I'll show you a really great option. So you're on your hands and knees, right? On your hands and knees, let me make sure you guys can see me, okay? You're gonna take your left knee and tuck it in behind your right knee. And then you're gonna open your feet here. Because if you try sitting back, you're gonna crush your calves. So you're gonna open your flipper feet behind you, and then you're gonna try to sit back, right? And then you're gonna open your feet a little bit more. And if you can't sit back, then you're gonna place that block underneath your sits bones, a block, a book. But here's the modification. So if you're efforting here and your knees aren't gonna stack, a couple things. You can take your right leg and slide it out a little bit. Maybe that'll free you up. Still have more modifications. You can come into an easy cross-legged pose, let your right leg be in front. If that's still efforting and too much, here's what you guys can do. Come to your back, cross that leg, your right leg over, and you can just reach for your feet. You're still in shoelace pose, and you're on your back. So maybe this is a lot easier for you. And I know some of you will opt for this. Alrighty? So close your eyes. I'm gonna come back up and get into my shoelace pose. And if you're on your back, just relax. And if you're with me sitting in shoelace, I want you to spread your wings nice and wide. And then I want you to take your right arm under. Right arm under, you're gonna cross at the elbows. And maybe you'll just clasp your shoulders here. And those of you that can keep wrapping, you're gonna wrap. Like eagle arms. So you're wrapping the forearms and maybe your palms will touch. I'm looking at you. You guys don't need to look at me anymore, actually. Go ahead and close your eyes. And I'm just gonna talk you through. Take your elbows a little higher. Raise up, inhale, raise up, and then you'll find your edge very quickly where your inner shoulders say, ooh, enough. Breathe in with me here. And then exhale, exhale beautifully. Just come on down, relax the elbows. And we can either sit with our spine tall, or if you want, you can tilt forward. Tilting forward, you're going to feel it a lot more in the outer IT bands. Plenty of options here. And now you can close your eyes and just relax the muscles around your eyes. Relax your face. And let's begin our meditation on the breath. The slow, the smooth, the steady, the joyous, the generous. Notice if you're holding tight anywhere, see about relaxing all the muscles in the hips and the legs. start your inhalation as you uncross the elbows, inhaling, reaching up and slow, and really invite that breath in. This should be slow and generous, delicious breath in. Let your palms touch, and then turn the breath around. Let your arms float down as you exhale. Set your hands behind you. You can lean back, your knees will automatically come up and uncross. Set your feet on the earth, about mat width apart. Let your knees fall to the right and to the left. And this can be nice and slow. You get a nice little massage of the IT band, right? The side of the gluteus. You guys can straighten your leg out if you need to shake it out a little bit more. Beautiful. So just releasing that tension. You know this isn't restorative. We hold poses for a long time. It's how we find the tension in the tendons and the ligaments. It's how we hydrate the tissues and keep everything from deteriorating and degenerating and getting stuck. Yeah, we're not so stiff. We've been sitting. I've been hearing from a lot of you, sitting. We're not getting as much exercise as we were. So just take your time. And then if you're on your back, go ahead and you cross legs again, right? And so that would be your left leg over, and you guys can come back and hold your feet. Otherwise, if you're with me, you're gonna pop up back onto your hands and knees. You're gonna take your right knee now and just tuck it in behind your left knee. And then just simply open the feet and sit on back. On a blanket, on blocks, on whatever. So your knees are, you're trying to stack your knees. Your shoelaces are down towards the mat. That's why this is called shoelace pose. You guys look great. Beautiful. So you can settle in here. For me, I kind of shimmy shake a little bit, settle in. And then widen your wings, nice and wide. And then you're gonna take your left arm under. You're gonna wrap and wrap and wrap. And maybe keep wrapping, maybe the palms will meet. If not, just rest your hands on your shoulders. Nice. And then close your eyes. And find your depth. I want you to inhale, raise your elbows up. This is just an exploration, investigating where is your edge. So you'll find the edge, right? And there's a certain tightness in the deltoids. Inner deltoids, just feel that. If you raised your elbows anymore, you would damage something. So here's your edge, right? And inhale with me. And then just soften. Let your elbows drop nice and slow. Settle into shoelace pose with eagle arms. And then those of you, if you want to tilt forward, you can. You can rest your elbows on a block, on a book, maybe on your knee. Some of you can rest your elbows on the earth. And use your breath. Remember, these ligaments and tendons are made of elastin. They're so much like rubber bands. And in the first maybe 30 seconds, the body's not really going to give. But after 30 seconds, moving into 45, into a minute, you're going to feel the skeleton pull apart. And it sounds violent. It's not. It's minuscule amounts of freedom, newfound mobility and pliability in the body. We just have to wait for it. Allow. And while you're in the pose, see about relaxing something. Is it the eyes? Is it the tongue? Is it the cheeks? Is it your glutes? Is it your mind? What can you completely let go of and relax? You're always going to take yourself to discomfort, to the edge. It's not comfortable. But you never want to take yourself to a point of pain, and you never want to take yourself to a point of electrical zap. That is hitting a nerve. So you guys can always back out. So we're not coming out of the pose yet. I'm assuming your eyes are closed. I'm sitting up just because the second time I've taught, And so I'm just being kind to my body and I'm backing off. I don't always have to be on that edge. I don't think you do either. Relax the throat, the tongue. And before we move, I'm going to talk to you about the inhalation that you're going to drink in. So in a moment, I want you to drink the breath in, really initiate. Big breath in, uncross, and let your arms just float up the whole time you're inhaling. So it's slow, soothing. Turn that breath over and your arms float down in concert with your exhalation. We move slow, deliberately. It helps us to stay calm. Lean back, uncross. Ah, you might get that little click. Some of your faces are like, ah. And then we can simply windshield wiper and just release. And you might want to move really slow and don't worry about the fragility. It's normal. It's normal. And if you're like me, at a certain point, windshield wiper doesn't cut it. I like to straighten my legs, maybe shake it out, move it out. I'm going to invite you guys to come onto your back and just get playful. And I'll give you all sorts of options here. You can take your legs up to the sky. You can straddle the legs. You can hinge the leg, one leg up, one leg down. You can bicycle. Just do what feels good. You can bring the knees into the chest and just rock your knees side to side. Oh, feels so good. Whatever you need. I don't believe there's a yoga teacher that can get inside your hips and your spine and know exactly. We can guide you, but I think there's a bit of intuition here. Lying on the earth and playing is much more enjoyable than being told exactly what to do every second of the practice. Get curious, you guys. Be aware. What's going on? And so now I'm going to guide you again. Bring the knees into the chest if they're not there already. Reach up over your shins. And then just let your knees rock gently and tenderly side to side. And you'll feel this much deserved massage of the low back. And if you want to rock the head along with the knees and get real dreamy and spacey, all the better. And roll up to seated. We're going to come into squat. And I know some of you are like, oh, really? So I can pop into squat pretty quickly, just boom, right? So take your time. However you get into squat is how you get into squat. Now, you can use your blanket underneath your sits bones. You can use your blocks. I'm using my blocks to film this class. Maybe that's a little more comfortable. If you don't need the props, then you do want to be at your edge. If your knees are tracking over your feet, that's fine. It's much more difficult to do squat with parallel feet. So you're finding your way. And just like shoelace, maybe your knees are protesting. And I think I know one of you who is, right? If that's the case, I'm going to offer another modification. You come onto your back, right into happy baby. Reach for the outer edges of the feet. Make sure your low back's down. Believe it or not, this is a squat, just on your back. So there's always modifications, you guys. Squatting is a very natural human position in the body. It'll come back. Whew, it will. It just takes oodles and oodles of practice. And you might be feeling this in your knees. The knees might be protesting a little, maybe a lot. Don't take yourself to pain, right? You might really be feeling this in the ankles, the Achilles heel, the pelvis. Let your tailbone get kind of heavy here. You might even feel this in the spine. You can place your palms in prayer, namaste hands, and press your elbows into your knees and get a little groin stretch if you would like. And let the tranquility, invite the tranquility in, and let the breath bathe you in a deeper sense of relaxation. I know it's an intense stretch. The ligaments and tendons, just like one of those real sturdy rubber bands that holds broccoli together, can take so much tension. We can stretch and stretch and stretch, and there's this point where we get, and it's just right, and we never want to go past that edge. We can go to it. The yin practice is not particularly comfortable. I think the comfort comes in Shavasana, right? But those of us that are very vested in aging with mobility and not sounding like a bag of Cheetos, and being able to move on the earth as we age with freedom, with grace, those are those of us that are in the yin practice. Beautiful, you guys. So if you're in squat, go ahead and just come on down, nice and slow. Don't break anything. And then extend your legs out long in front of you and move slow. So you might feel really tender here, right? And then if I were you, I would just drag one heel in, bend a knee, right? Just kind of relax, drum your legs, bend forward, bend back. What do you need to relax? Again, reason why we massage that third eye, to get in touch with intuition. You can copy my every move, or you can come up with what feels good, right? Just noticing hips, knees. Are we tender through the knees? A little bit more lubrication. Motion is lotion, right? You sound like the Tin Man. This is your oil can. Beautiful, you guys, really nice. So I'm going to turn to face you guys. Soles of the feet together. The knees can wing out to the side. This is called butterfly, and you can see why, right? And you can also really see here that I am not externally rotated. A lot of you can set your knees on the earth. I can't. So this is what I've got. Usually I set blocks underneath my knees. Today I just don't need them. If you need some blocks, or you can even roll up blankets, right? Big thick blankets like little burritos outside. And what that does, it cushions and it enables the groin muscles to soften so that the tendons can stretch. And if you need it, great. And if you don't need it, just explore your edge. You're walking your hips slightly away or your heels away so that when you look down, you're creating this little diamond shape. Now, relax your hands here. You're not gripping onto your heels and your ankles. You can tilt forward if you want and just kind of see, maybe rocking a little bit. That always feels good. And then one or two of you will even set that third eye right in on your arches. Good luck with that. And then you can really see the butterfly shape. Butterfly have the two sets of wings, right? And if you're looking at the screen, then you're going to be wrenching. You're going to really tighten the back of the neck. So just drop your chin, and I'll watch the clock for you. There is nowhere to go. There is nothing to do. Just be.
you're falling in love with the breath, really watching the inhalation as though you were the observer. The breath is coming in, the lungs feel slow, you can feel your belly move and expand. And draw the breath all the way up and in, not stuffed because that's uncomfortable, but there's that just right. And then you pause at the top of the inhalation. And then let the breath just sneak away slow, really gently, just like a little ghost, right? Just let the breath go and go. And then you come to the bottom of the exhalation. There's a vast emptiness that you can explore, this deep peace there. Relax. Just relax the mind. Relax the crease in the forehead. Relax the cheeks. Relax your jaw. Beautiful, you guys. Come on up and start breathing in so that you move so slow, slow, slow. Kindness. And take your knees up, soles of the feet down. And with little windshield wiper, yeah, and then widen your feet a lot here. Yeah, and then see if you're about getting that inner knee down. You'll feel this. As you're coming through, keep your knees nice and wide and then drop that in. And then knees nice and wide. And you'll feel this in the groin, right? And notice the lubrication. Notice how things are getting a little less stiff. Yeah, beautiful. And can you come into a full straddle? If you can't come into full straddle, that's fine. Maybe the soles of your feet, it looks like a spider, doesn't it? So what's comfortable for you? Palms down on each knee, rub your knees. And why do I say that? Rubbing your knees has nothing to do with yoga. What this does, it grounds you into this moment, right? And anytime your palms are down, it's a very grounding, very centering action. And sometimes we don't realize. So close your eyes. I'm just going to have us play with one other thing. Turn your palms now face up so you're resting on the backs of your hands. And just be. This hand gesture is receptive, like really open. Bring it on. What's coming my way? And if you need more grounding, well then your palms are down and you'll know what you need, right? So we're going to circle the torso around here in straddle. And the circles could be so gentle. If you had a paintbrush taped to the back of your head, maybe you would draw circles about the size of a basketball. Really gentle, clockwise and counterclockwise. And then as you begin to loosen up through the hips, through the groin, your circles can get bigger, right? Maybe you're going to draw with your nose on the earth, and maybe not. Maybe you're going to drop your head back like a rag doll. We do these circles often in cross-legged position. I really like also doing them in a straddle pose. So close your eyes and just sort of get that dreamy, spacey quality that yoga affords. And you've rolled your mat out in your home sanctuary. You're creating this delicious ease in your body. beautiful, you guys. And then come on up and just kind of sway side to side. And as you're swaying, just kind of move your shoulders up and around, loosening up through the shoulders. Loosening up, just swaying. This should feel good. And as you're swaying side to side, tune into your sits bones and consider the earth is like the plug, right? Yeah, and let your sits bones just join into the plug. Click into the earth and feel the energy here. Yeah, just relax. I want you guys to inhale and reach up. Inhale and reach up. Let your palms touch overhead. You might feel a little sore through the shoulders. Just hang out. Maybe you need to bend a little here in the elbows. If you can straighten your arms, fine. Yeah, I know some of you are really tight in the shoulders. I am too. Definitely feel this. Chin's level. And you're sitting nice and tall. You're not slouching here, right? Sit up nice and tall. Relax your legs. And then bend your elbows. So now you have handfuls of elbows. And you can pull your arms back behind your ears slightly, tenderly, gently. And then can you tilt over to the left just a little, just a little. You can go deeper, but I want you to be really careful. Nice sideways bend. Inhale, come up. Exhale, tilt over to the right. And inhale. And tilt over to the left. Just a little. You don't have to drop your elbow down to the earth. Just a little. You're not collapsing here, right? You're really trying to open up through the armpits. Sideways. Inhale up. And exhale, tilt over to your right. And just allow. Maybe your body's saying, you know what, you should back off. Don't try so hard. Don't try so hard. And inhale, come on up. And exhale, let your arms float down. Oh, yeah. And then circle your shoulders around. So shoulders are up, back, and down. My elbows are bent here. My hands are just real loose. Shoulders up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. Close your eyes. There's nothing to see. And now let's alternate. Left shoulder, up, back, and down. Right shoulder, up, back, and down. Left shoulder, up, back, down. Left, up, back, down. And speed it up a little bit. Looks like we're rowing, right? And then what about coming forward? So your shoulders are back, forward, and down. See that? Back, like you really feel the chest, feels across the chest, back, up, and down. Yeah, and just loosen up. Nice, Annette, and Ruth, and Jamie, and Tracy, and then alternate. So it does look like we're kind of trying to swim here, right? Beautiful. And if straddle is really comfortable for you guys, we can stop circling the shoulders now. Just relax. Actually, before I go on, I'm going to change my mind completely. Just let your hands rest wherever they feel comfortable. Tilt your head to the left. Left ear seeks left shoulder. It's not this, it's this. It's not a side bend of the body. Your spine is actually straight, right? It's just letting the head fall. And then come on up, inhale, nice and gently. And right ear seeks that right shoulder. This is a lateral flexion in the cervical spine, 7 vertebrae. Just exploring. Relax your heels, relax your feet. Inhale up. Slow, deliberate exhale. Let your left ear seek that left shoulder. Relax through the neck, relax through the spine. Consider those sits bones plugged in, tapped in, tuned in, pulling up the energy from the earth, like we have little tap roots holding us in. Inhale up, exhale, exhale. The next time you look at one of those huge sequoia trees or redwood trees that go so high climb story after story, hundreds of feet in the air. Can you only imagine the root system down into the earth, holding, grounding those trees so they don't blow over? Inhale here, beautiful. So I want you guys to come to a seat that's perhaps more comfortable. So for me, I'm actually going to grab a blanket and I'm going to guide you through some Nadi Shodhana breath. So if it's cross-legged, great. You can stay in your straddle if that works for you. I'm going to sit cross-legged, but I'm going to be real gentle and put up a nice, big, fat velour blanket. So Nadi Shodhana, nadis are the rivers of energy that run through the body, just like meridians, right? And there's one to the left of the heart and one to the right of the heart. Nadi is just another word for those meridians. Shodhana means alternate. So what we're going to do, we're going to alternate our breath through the nose. You're going to use your right hand, you guys, and we're going to use the right thumb. It's going to block the right nostril. And usually I'm mirroring you, so I'm not right now. And then the ring finger, right ring finger, blocks the left nostril. So you can just rotate your wrist and just sort of play with that. So you've got that down, and we've done this before. Take your peace fingers and place that on your third eye. And the baby finger goes along for the right. I'm going to guide you. We're going to inhale and exhale through the left 7 times. We're not going to fluctuate like we usually do, in and out. We're going to go in and out through the left and then in and out through the right 7 times. Sit up tall. Let's exhale completely. Let's block the right nostril and inhale left. And exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale left. Inhale left. Index and middle finger on that third eye. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale, slow, complete, delicious exhalation all the way out the left. Block the left nostril, open right, inhale right. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale right. Inhale, joyous, generous, slow it down. Release right. Inhale right. Exhale right. Inhale right. Slow, smooth, steady. Exhale, slow, slow. Let the breath go out into the atmosphere. And drop your right hand very slowly into your lap. Stack your right hand inside left hand. Let your thumbs meet. Just rest your hands. Sit up tall. feel. Tune in, tap into this present moment. Energetically harmonized, mentally relaxed, emotionally freer, physically looser, spiritually connected, mind, body, spirit, heart, breath, connected. Connected. You did that. You did that. Shavasana. Shavasana. Dead body pose. I know Tracy, you'll wrap up in a blanket. I'll wrap up in a blanket. I like to cocoon even though it's hot, right? If you guys have an eye pillow, you can always put essential oil on it, a little bit of weight over the eyes. A wash rag does the same trick. It also blocks out the light. Anything else, you can place your puppy on your lap or your cat, sandbag. You could do Shavasana on an air mattress on your pool. I'm gonna turn the lights out. It's gonna get really dark here. It doesn't mean I'm gonna go anywhere. I will wake you up. If you fall asleep in your home sanctuary, good. No one will know. I'll be back. Please enjoy the Shavasana.
very sweet fetal position.
Feel the support beneath you. And allow yourself to be held as though you were in the palm of an angel, and you are. Allow the vulnerability to envelop you, just wrapping you up in sweetness, really paying attention to this equanimity, this balance. And slowly rise to a very comfortable seat. Take your time and keep your eyes closed. And find a seat that's comfortable for you. And sit up tall and feel the Sushumna, this main energy channel, spinal column, from the tailbone all the way up to the crown. Tune in, tap in. How are you feeling? Physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. Just notice. Beautiful. So nice, so nice. Gather your palms together in front of the heart. Bow down to your sadhana, to your practice. And take in your wisdom tonight, your wisdom to roll out the mat for optimal health and well-being. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, remembering what peace there is in silence